there, Cancer. Welcome to your June 2023 tarot reading. It's Raina here. Okay, this one kind of popped up, so let's pick that one. One of the things I'm getting, themes I'm getting here, and this could be post-eclipse, especially that Scorpio eclipse, because of what Scorpio represents, that excavation emotionally. Since you're water sign, that's falling in your 5th house of love. So even somebody that you're pining away for, maybe a past relationship, whatever, perhaps it has been possible to loosen the grip of that. But what I'm finding is that people still have these remnants that are keeping them hooked into something. There might be movement, there might be the possibility that they are moving ahead a little bit, but then there still is this thing that is keeping them in that energetic pattern. So here we have another cup. So that's a good omen. Okay. And, that's just kind of like the way life works, because you can't snap your fingers. If you love someone, you can't snap your fingers and then be like, oh, well, whatever. Maybe if you were a Gemini, you would. Maybe there are some Cancers who have Venus in Gemini or the moon in Gemini, and you're like, next. But in general, it does take time. The key, it's always like this slippery slope, because sometimes people just kind of almost base their whole life on this, the one who got away or something like that. So we're not talking about doing that. The heart of the matter is the King of Cups. And this is, they have this pendant with a fish. It's a fish pendant. So I assume this might be connected to Pisces specifically, but definitely water energy. And the king represents to me, the ultimate outer mastery, because obviously the king is a masculine energy, and masculine means that it is the world, the world versus the spirit. And in the world, being able to master your emotions is super important, but we do have to be able to feel our emotions. That's the more subjective or internal process, right? So we see a lot of people who have a lot of that masculine energy, but not the feminine. And I'm not talking about gender, because a woman can have a lot of masculine energy too and be rather insensitive, and maybe be very successful in a worldly sense because she is kind of immune to getting too bent out of shape or taking things personally, because that can create its own kind of barrier. But maybe that person does really well with their career, but their personal life is in shambles because they're not tuned into other people. So anyway, Cancer really needs to get this kind of control over the emotions, because even when it's not at its worst or some kind of like self-destructive thing, it can be and I don't think Cancer is a self-destructive sign as a whole, but I'm saying, when people feel down about themselves, even without that, you're very sentimental, and that can lead to being very soft when you need to be firm about a relationship in your life, or maybe it's more than one relationship. Codependency may be the result of that. So anyway, the King of Cups can be that you are gaining mastery over your emotions. It could be a mature water sign male, fellow Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces who is in your life. Maybe this is the kind of person that you need rather than the other person. Could be a counselor that you are seeing, or a spiritual guru type, a teacher that is helping you bridge the gap between where you've been and where you want to be. In the past position, we have the Justice card. Yes, so that might be some legal decision, like a divorce and seeing a counselor after you've gotten a divorce. I just flashed on An Unmarried Woman. I just love that movie. I was young. I don't know if I saw it when it first came out, though, because it was an R-rated movie and I was probably like 12. But I've seen it multiple times, and I just saw it not too long ago online, and I just love that movie so much. It's so 70-ish. And the main character, played by Joel Clayburgh, actually goes to see a counselor after her husband tells her that he isn't in love with her anymore. Which is like, can you imagine somebody telling you that? That's the worst thing in the world. So it's a very good time capsule from that era, and it has a good message too. But yeah, so some of you may have been going through this. Maybe you've gotten divorced and now you're trying to work on yourself because either it's kind of stirred up emotions, or you want to get a handle on them. And and for work matters, the King of Cups can be a sympathetic boss or other authority figure, because the Justice card, if this is work related, you may have been seeking some sort of justice, maybe through a mediator, not necessarily a court of law, but some, human resources, or however they handle it. And you have somebody in your corner who is in a position of authority and is very sympathetic to your plight. The heart of the matter, which is the higher message, I said heart of the matter, I meant the higher message, is the Two of Wands. This may be showing you that you're at a crossroads in terms of career, that you're ready to go in a different direction. But actually, you see that globe, this could also be a relocation kind of a thing. Now, the higher message card isn't meant to be like a predictive card per se. It's more looking at it from the bigger picture of what is really going on, because we can say, like, for instance, if someone is promised a promotion and their boss reneges, and then they give it to somebody who just walked in the door because the boss takes a liking to this new person, thinks that they're, the greatest thing since sliced bread, whatever. That may, you may be focused on the injustice, like, how dare they do that to me after they promised to me? But the bigger picture is it time to leave? And if this is something like, if you're in an industry where the area where you're living in is just kind of very insular, then you may be looking for, or maybe it's even like having a lot of speed bumps, a particular industry, and you feel like it's on the way down, then it's possible that you are thinking about maybe changing careers. But so that's why it's the bigger picture. If you just hyper focus on the event itself, you might be missing the fact that this is a vehicle for bigger and better things. And I think a lot of people do that. Same with relationships. Somebody cheats on their partner. The person who gets cheated on may be focused on that cheating. And we're not automatons, we're not robots, so we're not just going to, if somebody cheats on us and we're in a committed relationship, I don't expect people to go, oh well, this is actually a blessing in disguise. I expect people to feel really bad, but then to kind of pick themselves up and see that perhaps this is a sign that this situation is no longer serving them. Maybe you are ready to move on to a different caliber of relationships than the one that you've had. And so it could be something that is even more awesome. What crosses you is the Five of Cups. That's kind of an extension of what I'm saying, is that grief, while grief should be felt, if it is held onto and identified with, and you tell a story of what it means that a certain thing happened that you didn't want to happen, you can prolong the agony. You know, if you tell yourself that you didn't get a promotion because you're inadequate, instead of what is likely the case, that someone was able to, you know, suck up to the boss, or maybe the boss just sees themselves in that person, and it's like that kind of mirror that reflects back on them. And we don't have to, you know, berate ourselves or make ourselves feel bad because something is happening that we didn't want to happen. That, to me, is the ultimate takeaway. And also, for some people, their busyness might get in the way of, you know, purging the difficult emotions. Usually cancers are, I think, pretty good at identifying their emotions and maybe dealing with them, but there are different types of cancers. So some of you may be more like the Gemini. Maybe you have a lot of inner planets in Gemini or Aries, and you're just more like that. And you need to feel that Cancer side, the softer side, to be able to process your emotions. What's coming in is the Four of Wands. This speaks of a new home. So with that Two of Wands, there could be like a move of some sort. You are having your new moon in Cancer in July, so next month. And another thing too is the fourth house of home and family for you is the sign of Libra, and the Justice card is connected to Libra. So it might be a timing card of like when you can expect these things. Oh, you know what? There's going to be a solar eclipse in Libra in October 14th. So for Cancer and Cancer rising individuals, this will be in your fourth house of home and family. So you may see a new home for sure. And so this may be kind of that in-between phase, the messy phase, where you're kind of picking up the pieces, but better days might be ahead. Because the outcome card is so awesome, Sorceress. Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, this joy that may be permeating you. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to come with any kind of difficult emotions. The Five of Cups, in particular, that sense of grieving the loss of something. But it's almost like, you know how, I know this is a bad example, especially if you're eating, but you know when you throw up and it's it's that horrible experience that nausea is. I mean, it's a horrible thing. When I was young, when I was a little kid, I had a phobia about throwing up because I had my stomach pumped when I was 2 years old because I had taken some tablets or vitamins, and the paramedics were rushed over. So they they induced vomiting, I guess. And I think that was the trauma that made it, for years, I was terrified of throwing up. But I remember when I did so, that the feeling afterwards was so good, because it's like nausea is a horrible feeling. You feel like you're being poisoned. You feel like you're trying to get rid of something. Well, the same thing applies to emotions. Some people get stuck in their emotions, and it's like it's almost like your bones aching or something. It's like you need that purge. And once you do, it can be this sense of relief. It can be this lightness. Well, that's what I see with the Nine of Cups, this kind of unbridled joy. But it's this card of wish fulfillment. So Dream big, because you may get what you want, and it may take you from the Five of Cups to the Nine of Cups. It's wonderful. Okay, that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.